Actually, you know what? Let's just get this started as soon as possible. I mean, I've held people up for long enough, just not getting my stream to work for whatever reason. Turns out literally all I had to do was just reopen OBS and then everything was perfectly normal. Actually, you know what? Let's just get this started as soon as possible. So yes, this is the second time I've... No. Nah. The third. Fourth if you count the relay race I've done. So this is like the fourth time I've run this in a live marathon setting. 2 times with Grant, 1 with Alucard and Voltathon, which happened earlier in May. And this is my 4th time right now here at Resort Fest International, gonna run Sypha. Oh, you weren't supposed to start the timer now. Could you please reset that? Timer starts when I say it starts, and I say when it ends. Let's just go. Now time would start, ideally. Oh, you weren't supposed to start the timer now. Could you please reset that? Timer starts when I say it starts, and I say when it ends. Let's just go. Now time would start, ideally. Start a little late, but I'll give you the real time at the end of this run. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's just talk about the game real quick. Give a basic overview of what this is before things start actually getting challenging. So essentially, this is like, this is probably like the most innovative of the Castlevanias in the, at least on the NES. I mean, this one gives you branching paths and other characters you can play as. And you're only going to get to see Sypha, and ideally, you see her much later in the run than when you acquire her. I mean, this one gives you branching paths and other characters you can play as. And you're only going to get to see Sypha, and ideally, you see her much later in the run than when you acquire her. Stage 1, there's really nothing to say about, so I usually just kind of keep quiet when I run this anyway, because there's nothing of interest here, especially after you've done this hundreds of times. Sure, this game is a stage 2, but I'm just gonna skip it, because we don't need Grant for this category. Oh, that was silly of me. Okay, that's not too bad, but that was pretty silly of me to just do that. That was pretty dumb that I just went and did that, so... I'm just going to anyway. Try and keep a level head or I'm probably going to screw up something that's actually fatal. Because it's actually surprisingly easy to just lose a run if you lose focus for just a second. Like, one wrong move can actually just outright kill your run. So I'm probably going to mute the stream real quick, so that I only have the game audio to listen to. I mean, stage 3 shouldn't be that hard, it usually isn't, but there's one thing that really works against you, whether or not this is intentional. It's the fact that enemies can drop items at random. They can drop small hearts, which that actually doesn't do anything bad. I mean, it's easy enough to just get your heart count down to 0 at the end of each stage anyway. But they can drop weapons, which are usually worse than the ones you have. If you know which weapons you want to keep, then a bad item drop pretty much makes you always trade down. So I have to make sure I can avoid those at all costs. Speaking of which, there's one. So now we really shouldn't see one on the owl, so getting it there, that's good news. Makes this less scary. I mean, this is still pretty tricky to do nonetheless, I just lost time from that. Ideally, you don't want to set it up that way. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure I don't fall in the water, because it would suck to take a death this early on. Lost a bit of time getting the knockback left, but that's really not a big deal. I don't have to get a world record or even a PB, I just want to do, like, the best I can, really. I just want to be able to show off this game to the best of my ability, and these little time losses Unless they actually get me killed, they're not gonna matter too much. So the trick to that owl rune really is to kind of just try and jump to manipulate them into flying high, so you can kind of just run past as many as possible. And when it comes to the water pits, you want to kind of take a hit just before that and boost right, so you can just run through there with posted invincibility, and that way the owl right near the water can't possibly knock you backwards. There's a low route, but this isn't Alucard, so we're going up here, where the statues are. I have to not pick up that axe. I screwed up those jumps, but at least I didn't get the axe. If I thought I picked that up, we still would have been completely and utterly screwed. Like, if you get, like, the wrong sub-weapon, you're pretty much completely finished. Rather slow compared to what I can usually do, but yeah, I feel like I'm really lagging behind, but at least I didn't lose my sub-weapon still. I'm really lagging behind on this stage. And then there's a Cyclops fight coming up, which you actually need a more specific pattern than what you would need if you just use the cross for stages 3 and 4. You can use either one and have about, like, the same time for both stages, just personal preference, really. They both usually do amount to the same thing. But I just preferred Holy Water because personal preference, really. Has nothing to do with the... Oh, wow, that was dumb. Charge, please. Please, please, what are we doing? And he barely even let me get that quick kill in at all. Sometimes he could just not charge at all, or sometimes he could come really close to the edge of the stage and give you barely any breathing room to set that up. That's certainly one of my harder quick kills that I got there. I really have to start playing better. I mean, this is all looking so silly. I'm sorry, it's just kind of a bit of pressure here doing this live in a marathon where I only have one chance to just get it right. So we just met Sypha, but we're not going to use her for a while. The way the US version of this game, at least, is rooted is so that you use Sypha starting on stage 7, because there's really no good ice skips to go for in these first few stages that you actually have Sypha to work with on, so we're just gonna use Trevor. There's no really good sub-weapons for Sypha to use, or anyone, as a matter of fact, on this entire stage. The best thing you can possibly get on this one stage is the fire spell, and if you don't have Sypha, then it's the axe, which is a far cry from Cross and Holy Water. Interestingly enough, in the Japanese version, they actually had, like, a cross and a holy water somewhere in the stage. Both of those got replaced with the shitty dagger. Pardon my French, but yeah, the dagger is, like, the worst sub-weapon in this game by far. Yeah, the dagger is just awful. Probably because maybe they wanted you to, like, not have Sypha's lightning spell or anything powerful straight away, but it just makes this stage unnecessarily brutal, just because you can't get any good sub-weapons. So if you lose your sub-weapons, either on stage 3 or on 4, you're in deep trouble, because you have no good replacements. Like, the next Holy Water is, like, on stage 5. Which is why I could never beat this stage for the longest of times as a kid. Not to mention that it has 3 bosses. 1 demi-boss and 2 boss fights right at the end of the stage. But of course, with the triple shot Holy Water, 2 of those are a cakewalk. Third one's a little bit trickier. That actually does require skill, but not this boss, though. As you can see, triple shot Holy Water is overpowered. That got nerfed in Super Castlevania 4 for good reasons, too. Speaking of item drops, There's another random one that just appeared on top of that ledge there. So yeah, what you just saw was 2 daggers, one that's in that lantern there that you always know is gonna be there. So you always know to jump over that one, but the other one was just like another item drop that could happen at random. Since it was up there, there was no way it could possibly kill the run. Now, I usually like to play the stage safe because these birds are very unpredictable. They're very tough to deal with. They're the most random enemy in the entire game by far. So I'm just gonna hope for a good pattern. That'll let me not get hit here. I can maybe take a bit of time loss, but I just don't want to get hit. Or perhaps they both fly high and make it super easy for me. That's also good. Because you want to have like a good amount of health to deal with the Cyclops, because you have to get hit like at least once, if not mistaken, to actually kill him fast. You have to take at least one hit. Now, if he charges straight away, I got this. Okay, let's do this, like so. I jump here and then I walk into his hammer, kind of like just then get hit on it after jumping and throwing another holy water, then kind of let this just drain his health, then just finish him off with the whip, and there we go. I'm still feeling really stupid after stage 3 though, but that stage 4 was pretty nice though. Still not gonna get to see Sypha. But now the game actually starts to get kind of hard. Now there's some stuff that requires actual skill. Oh, got it. Yes, that D-boost, what you just saw there, that's actually a lot harder than it looks. That fireball is a really small target and you have to hit the right half of it while it's moving faster than you move. So keep that in mind. To do that, I literally have to memorize the exact pixel sometimes to just make sure I can hit that jump. I literally try to just look at the exact pixel and jump from that every time. This is nowhere near as precise, but don't underestimate that either. Now I actually get to kind of relax a bit because, well, this is an auto-scroller. You can't go any faster than the auto-scroller allows you to, so we kind of just get the coast here. Now I'm going to not kill any more enemies in this room because I just made a drop up here. I mean, the less enemies you kill, the less likely you are to get a drop. This is going to set up the item drop manipulation in such a way that it's not going to appear where I don't want it to. But I do have to get rid of this guy, though, because he's in my way. It's going to set up the item drop and how that works. It's going to ensure that I don't get it on stage 5, try to just kill birds or the axe armor in the next room. Okay, I didn't get hit, so it's not too bad. I was supposed to jump forward, not straight up. I didn't get hit there, so that doesn't make the stage any less safe, at least. It's just a little time loss. Yeah, because you need a lot of health, because the ideal way to get through this room as fast as possible is just take several hits. I don't know. Yeah, these birds are random, if I haven't said that already. I got a pretty good pattern. That was actually a good one. Yeah, if that bird is too fast for you to get into a safe spot, then it can actually just knock you off and get you killed. I like to stand on, like, the right edge of that ledge where the 2 birds are. Because Because if I get hit there to the right, the knockback doesn't actually kill me, it just puts me on the platform just to the right of it. And not to mention, you also have to be careful in that little area to not hit the candle that has the axe in it, because if you get that, you're also in a bad spot. Essentially, it all boils down to not losing your sub-weapons and not making, like, anything that can actually get you killed, like not making a mistake too fatal. So I'm just gonna hope I can get a bird pattern that... I'm gonna take that a bit slow to just clear out the birds and not get hit. If I get hit backwards, then that just gives more fishmen an opportunity to gang up on me and makes the room a lot scarier than it would be otherwise. And yeah, that's another hard deboost to hit. I was just trying to make sure that the drop was there, I wouldn't actually get it. Because I'm due for another one right about now. So I'm doing everything in my power I can to just make sure I don't get stuck with it. Because if I get stuck with it, I'm in deep trouble. Speaking of which, I was expecting it to be there, with all the damage I've been dealing to enemies and stuff, and just like that, cleared another one. And you kind of just deboost through most of this, so that's why you need all kinds of health. That's why you have to be sure you don't get hit too much on 6B, even though that's much easier said than done. A lot of deboosting in that room. And if that's not bad enough, you gotta finish the stage with a pretty tricky fight, in which you have to do like the very first move just right or you're screwed. I know I've said that a lot, but it's just so easy to lose a run in this game, it's not even funny. It's like one little misplay can easily just get you killed. Got it. And I got the setup for a fast kill, too. Yeah, stage 3 was god-awful, but I've been making up for it. Ever since that ended, I've just been making up for it, like, the whole time. So, placing this first holy water in just the right place is pretty important. Clear out that skeleton with the sword, then switch to Sypha. Yeah, Sypha. She exists, by the way. And now you actually get to see what she's good at. Because there weren't too many good places to do ice skips. There'd be 1 on 4 if you could actually get the ice, which you can't in the American version. So now you get to see the first one the whole run, which is like about 17 minutes in, give or take. 17 minutes, give or take, at my level, and, like, World Record Chaser level. Okay. If an item drops there and you pick it up, you're also in deep trouble. Because you need this ice to do quite a few skips in both this stage and the one immediately after. And here's what's coming... We're coming up to, like, the hardest one in the whole stage by far. I'll try and compensate by doing this. Missed that deboost, but that's still sort of how it's supposed to be done. That should still give you an idea as to how you do that. I just want to be extra sure I wouldn't take a hit, because if I take a hit, then I have to go back for some meat in order to tank a hit on Cyclops. Because I need to take a hit on the next upcoming boss to kill him. So to make this extra safe, I'm just going to cast a bunch of ice spells to keep these birds frozen. Hopefully they don't ever catch up to me, because if they do, that might be bad. Yeah, very rarely these birds can actually catch up to you, even if you do freeze them. I've run that section dozens of times, and only once or twice a bird's actually caught up to me from like a mile away. Only once in an actual run, once in practice. It's very, very rare that they can actually catch up to you. And yes, you can jump across 3 block wide gaps in this game. It's just precise. Not something the game ever actually asks you to do, thankfully. Not even if it wouldn't get you killed by failing it. Now, this guy better charge or we're still in trouble. I need to... Oh. I'm gonna have to compensate somehow. Really not sure what to do now. Still got him in the corner, but that took much longer than it should have. He was supposed to go straight away. Still compensated for it somehow. Nice recovery, but yikes, I really didn't want that. At least I get to show off stage 8, though. So I'm gonna switch characters here. Because I want to have Sypha at the start of it to set this up properly. Because the way I like to set up stage 8-1 now is I started with Sypha. It's a very specific way to set up this stage. You really have to take every single possible detail into account when you're going for this double ice skip. I'm gonna go for it, but I can't guarantee anything. But thankfully there are 2 ways to actually go get it. And that's the one from the right side. First time I've done that in the live run. And it was during the marathon. Yay. Oh, yeah, I kind of forgot what to do there for a second. I think I saw a little weird ice glitch up there for a second. So that's our ice skip. I wish that the rest of the run would have been better. I was being an idiot on stage. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna pick that up, so I'm gonna... wow. Because I still need to do an ice skip here, so I didn't want to pick that drop up. Yeah, that was awkward to say the least. That is gonna work against me. What a bad RNG in this run, overall. Still playing pretty well, though, except for stage 3. Still played extremely well this whole run, pretty much. Bar stage 3. Just gonna kill death from the right side, actually, so I don't get hit again. Ideally, I don't get hit again, so I'll just do this the safe way. Nice and easy. Though it's slightly faster to do it from the left side. Anyway, that could have been faster if I didn't get forced to wait for that. I don't know if I could have just not touched it by going on the stairs anyway, but I didn't want to take a chance. There's another ice skip in that room immediately after that I have to get, so I do not want to lose the ice for, like, any dumb reason. So I just didn't want to lose that ice, that's all I can say. Now, at least I don't have to worry about a drop here, because I already got forced to wait for one in stage 8 just before. And now I need to make sure these lightning attacks are just right. Because if you don't do one right, they may stay on screen, making it impossible to shoot more. Because the way this works, you can only shoot more lightning if there's no lightning orbs already on screen. So if you don't shoot your lightning in just the right way, you might find yourself stuck with lightning orbs on screen that kind of just circle around and do nothing. Thus making you unable to shoot more when you need to, and then putting you in a bad spot. The lightning is super powerful, but it's also really finicky, so you have to learn that. More finicky than in the Japanese version, that's for sure. Like, they actually kind of downgraded it in the American version to, like, nerf Sypha to make the game harder, so more people would buy it and not just rent it. Another way they made the game harder. Aside from the most obvious one being, everything in stages 8, 9, and 8 does 4 damage. Oh, that was not supposed to happen. If I would have been just a bit faster, stood back a bit further, that wouldn't have happened. So I don't know anymore. I really don't. All I know is that was not supposed to happen. Yeah, that guy snuck in a cheap shot. That put me in a really tight spot. Now I really just have to be careful to not get hit again. Otherwise, we're gonna have, like, no safety net left, practically. Unless I just forego the deal line with stairs. I thought I was gonna miss that jump for a second. Wow. Okay, I still have to remember that there's an ice spell I need to pick up, because there's another series of ice skips that are coming up. One of which, if I take it, I actually lose more health, so I'll have to think about that for a second there. While I just go through this auto-scroll, I'll think about whether or not I want to do that. If that knight wouldn't have hit me, we'd still be in a pretty good position, but that just made this stage much scarier than it would have been otherwise. I definitely want to show this off, so let's just try it anyway. I mean, if I can't show it off now, then when can I? Got it! You have to stand in just the right spot and freeze those while you're on top of both, because if you do that, then you can still climb up the stairs, but the game can't push you right to align you perfectly with the stairs, so you just clip off of them, and then that happens. Now, this is like the hardest room in the whole speedrun by far, so this is serious time. I'm not gonna get a good pattern, I'm just gonna go and spawn the third bird real quick. And a fishman along with that, so I think we're gonna be in deep trouble. Yeah, this is the hardest room in the whole run. You have to freeze one of the birds in such a way that you can jump on it and jump on the ledge above, but this one's not even coming down! Still not down. Still didn't come down far enough. I gotta spawn another one. Because I'm pretty sure that one was just about to fly away at that point. It's usually not this bad. This is like, it's still not coming down. I swear, I'm not trying to make this look impossible, it's just, it's not coming down. I got like one bird to come down, but that was too fast. There we go. Now that took forever. If this bird hits me, then, fuck. I'm sorry, this is just going so wrong right now. That took like at least 30 seconds to get. That took a good 30 seconds. Let's try this AI loop anyway. If this thing walks towards me, I'm actually dead. Plus 54.8. Lost almost a good minute just waiting for those birds to come down. I was seriously unlucky. That was like a good 50 seconds gone to that bird luck right there. That's like the worst I've ever seen. And if that thing hits you, that just makes the stage much scarier. It's already pretty tricky nonetheless, but at least it's nowhere near as random as Stage 9-4. So I shouldn't lose another 50 seconds unless I take a death. Like, they would just not come down! It's usually never that bad. Oh, that was not the pattern I wanted. That was unnecessarily scary for nothing. Let's just try and finish strong, though, even though Stage 9 gave me, like, the worst possible luck you could have imagined. Some of the worst possible luck you could have possibly imagined, I just got it. I didn't want to lose 50 whole seconds, but oh well. Nothing I can do now. Still gonna be underestimate, though, probably. I was gonna go for this no matter what, because when I made that donation incentive, I still wasn't exactly sure if I could do it consistently, but things have changed. Things have definitely changed. So yeah, that's the A2 ice skip. Still, hopefully you got that $15 for the kids who need water. Now all I have to do is just fight Dracula. I'm gonna get a really good split on this stage, most likely, though, but Stage 9, that was really bad. Really bad luck I had there. It was like some of the worst you'll ever see. I got a sub 29. This sucks. I don't even know if I timed that first one right. I'm actually just gonna make sure I don't die here. Okay, that still hits, so that's good. Now I'm gonna have to try something here so I don't get hit and can just finish this in one cycle. One cycle, sure. Time. Stage A was really good at least. Yeah, 29:31. Lost 50 seconds or so to the birds on 9-4. That's like a new record for me. 50 seconds gone to bad RNG on stage 9-4. That's kind of what you want to do, but you don't want to wait 50 seconds, 50 whole seconds, to get a bird skip. Yeah, I originally had the estimate of 33 minutes. Then I changed it to 31 once I realized I got that much better at this game. I would have put it at 30, but after seeing what happened to Mike Canis during his run of this game at SGDQ, I didn't want to take too much of a chance because I was expecting possibly some bad RNG. And yeah, just as you saw, I just got a bunch of it right there. That much better at this game. I would have put it at 30, but after seeing what happened to Mike Canis during his run of this game at SGDQ, I mean, don't get me wrong, guy's still a good player, but he got the really bad end of the stick on stages 6 and 7. And yeah, just as you saw, I just got a bunch of it right there. That much better at this game. I would put it at 30, but after seeing what happened to Mike Canis during his run of this game at SGDQ, I mean, don't get me wrong, guy's still a good player, but great. There's been an echo this whole time, really? Really bad end of the stick on stages 6 and 7. Cool ass run though, RNG though. Don't forget those 16 high axes. That's a different category entirely.